Hi, Shannon.
Hi, Lauren. Here we
Welcome to Open
go.
Doors. My name is Lauren
My
Douglas.
my name is Shannon Pruitt, and we're thrilled that everybody's here. I'm thrilled to see you.
Me too. I'm happy to be back.
I know, right? I'm gonna have my fake mic here so that people
You're not supposed to
not
tell the
everything is
people.
always as it seems, as it turns out.
How have you been? It's been a minute.
It has been a minute.
How's your
I have
summer?
my summer was in, like it was awesome, right? I lost my job, so let's start
Okay.
there.
All right. Big news.
Big news. Um, but I think in the spirit of what we're going to talk about today, right, which is sort of unexpected changes and how we deal with them and think about them. And we've covered it before, but I think in the opportunity that it creates and created for me, just personally, I went on a really special trip with my dad and my sister on a cruise, and my boyfriend Greg, as people have not come to know him, and my kids, except for Emma. But it was really special. And then
Mm-hmm.
I went to Europe because I had some extra time. So the cocky, crazy, kooky family unit, me, Scott, the kids, and
Oh
Chris
my
and
God. I
Chris,
love it.
Scott's best friend, all went to London, and then Mia and I went on a very special trip to Paris, and we had so
Nice.
much fun. And then Lowe's Elite, I got to go to the U.S. Open. Like I had,
Nice.
and all of it was sort of this idea, like I have the time. I've
Yeah.
never really
That's
had
great.
time, right?
Yeah. Time is the
So
best.
time is the best, and giving yourself permission to take time, which I think I've also never really done,
Mm-hmm.
because I was always scared to like not have an
Mm-hmm.
income or all these things.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, it's not a comfortable position to like, thinking about too far fast forward, but like I also just to appreciate the time with my 12-year-old daughter who,
Yeah.
or my son who's 16
Who's
or
going to be
almost
gone in
16. He's going to be
four years or yeah.
2, 2
Two.
years.
Yeah.
Like it's just a
Mm-hmm.
very special, my dad, my sister,
Yeah. That's really
yeah, having
nice.
Greg in part of that, like it's just really lovely. How about you?
Good.
Tell
Yeah,
me
it was
everything.
nice. My summer was good. I mean, summer in New York is such a special time, you know? And it's just people are just out and happy and like, I don't know, it's just like really nice. The weather here has
Yeah.
been incredible and I just got back from Burning Man, which was
Yes.
a crazy experience. And so I would say I'm like reintegrating into the world slowly and sort of finding my footing because at
Yeah.
first I was like, wait, how can I have the most like transformative experience and then have to go send emails about marketing, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So
The
it takes a
reentry
minute.
as the
Reentry.
reentry is always a little, it's literally like coming back from outer space, which
It is.
I think in looking at the pictures, which by the way, you look stunning in all your
Oh,
photos, like the
thanks.
creativity that
Thanks.
goes into how people show up at Burning Man and like what inspires them and how that manifests and like what they're wearing is like such kind of fun, interesting, uh wonderful to experience, even if you're just on the
Yeah.
sidelines.
Yeah,
Um,
it's special.
so
That part is really special. It's like art for the sake of it, creativity for the sake of it. When do we get to do that in life,
never. It's like going back to being a kid, right? Like
Yeah,
imagination.
it
Where would
is.
your imagination take you if you had
Yes,
zero limits?
zero limits. What would you
You,
create? And then
what
you're
would
just
you
like,
create?
"Oh my
What would
god,
you
how did
be?
these people come up with this stuff?" You know?
Yeah, yeah.
It's wild.
It's really neat to see. It's like adult imaginary play,
Camp.
right? Which is what
Yeah.
we kind of forgotten in a lot of ways how to do.
Yeah, for sure. What's
We could use a little more
been
of that in society, I think, right now.
I think so. I think so. Finding
Yeah,
your inner child and, like, following it. I love
yeah.
that exercise.
Yeah, it's a good one. We should have someone on the podcast that, like, can talk to that, right? Like, that are more
Yeah.
experts than us.
Yeah. I
I
agree.
mean, we
I
are
love that.
experts, but we're
In
not
finding our inner
experts.
children.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe closer to it now than I've been before in my life, but here we are.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Um, yeah. So,
What's been on your mind lately? Yeah,
yeah,
what have you been thinking about?
it's interesting, right? Like, I've really been thinking about legacy. I think about what happened, uh, you know, with Charlie Kirk and his family, with the legacy that he built on discourse and being able to have a conversation and, embracing that and really doing something instead of just kind of like sitting on the sidelines, like however he felt politically and however people feel about this is not a political conversation, right? This is an opportunity to have a conversation. And then, which also sort of was reinforced by the passing of Robert Redford,
Yeah.
who, great actor, filmmaker, activist, all these things, but his legacy is really what he did for independent film in Utah
Mhm.
and the Sundance Film Festival, and this will be the last
Mm.
year of the Sundance Film Festival in Utah, which,
Mm.
is very sad to think about, but he died at the Sundance Resort, and if you haven't been, you should go.
Oh,
It's
I
like a
didn't know that.
magical place. Um, and yeah, I just think about legacy, like, what are you building in this life that you will feel proud of, that you will no matter how, how what your ending looks like, it's not necessarily over, you
Yeah,
know?
I love that.
Uh, so that's been on my mind, which is,
Very
light,
cool.
bright, airy,
Just light and easy. Yeah.
just light and easy, no big deal. What about you?
Um, well, I got shared an article from you and then about 4 other friends
Stop it.
from
Really?
yeah, from New and it was, like, all over my social media. It was wild. Like, this article on New York Magazine kind of went viral about facelifts and
Yes.
how women so, like sorry, Shannon, you're so deep, and I'm just like, "And facelifts."
I know. It's hilarious. I mean, I was like, wow. Okay, what are like I was like, how are these two things but they do come together actually, I think.
Well,
So be honest. But continue. Please share. Because I read
yeah,
it and we have talked about this before. So this is like these are also we are multidimensional humans as it turns out. And there are
exactly.
a number of
That's right.
things that we are,
Are interested
interested
in.
in, care about. And, on
I'm
that
I'm
day in
both
that time when I
I'm
sent you the article, I was thinking about that.
exactly. I'm both interested in, like, health and wellness and also drinking margaritas. I'm interested
Yeah.
in being spiritually okay with myself and also thinking
Yes.
about a facelift at some point.
Yes, I love it.
But yeah, no, they were just talking about, like, sort of the TikTokification, the Instagram face, and sort of how people are going more in this route of, like, going down the path of surgery because Botox and
Yeah.
fillers and all these things are starting to, like, become, like, not as people don't wanna do it as much, and so
Yeah.
they're like, "Let me just go once, and then I'm good for 8 years or 10 years or 15 years," or whatever it is, and so the article followed these 2 women that went through the process and the procedure and, like, what their what happened to them, how they felt about it afterwards, etcetera.
I thought it was very interesting, right? And the sort of like, I mean, perpetually like 36-year-old
All
look,
these women
right?
at the school, they said, like, now they just all look perpetually 36.
They all look the same. And it's interesting, right? Because as I age, right? Like, I mean, as I'm sending you the article, I'm booking appointments to try to do like microneedling, you know, all these things that are about because what I've come to the conclusion based on a mutual friend that we have, like, there's some of these things are also just about like the surface of your skin and the texture of your skin. And like, I never really invested that much in kind of the topical nature. I never had
Yeah,
surgery, but like, have I done Botox? Yes. Or do I do it? Yes. Like I do these things, but what I've realized is like in the spirit of that, which is like how you treat your skin is really important, right? From the
yeah,
inside and the outside. But in reading that article, I was like, what's going to happen when everyone looks 36 years old?
I know, it's gonna be wild.
And it won't be everybody, but based on the
Wealthy people
amount
are
of
gonna
these
look
things, the
36.
wealthy people will all look 36 years old.
And
And
the
then,
less wealthy people will look their age, and then it's like aging will become this, like, another way, another
uh,
divide between wealthy
yeah,
and, poor.
totally. I mean, it's
Wild.
interesting, right? The inflation, because today the Fed is announcing, whether or not they're going to cut the rates, and it's anticipated that they will. And they're, for anyone paying attention, right? Last week came out that the jobs report had been horribly underestimated or overestimated, I guess. So, like, basically half the jobs they thought still existed no longer existed, mine included. And what's really interesting about it is, but spend is still up like 6%, right? And what they figured out in digging into some of the data is that it's the 1%, it's the wealthy people that are still spending money while everyone else is cutting back. And then the other thought is like everything's gotten more expensive. So your groceries are more expensive, your gas is everything is more expensive. So it still looks like there's still, strong spending in the economy, but there's not. And again,
Well, right. So it's
another
like
proof point.
if you bought eggs, they used to cost you $6, now they cost you 12. It looks like you're
Yeah,
spending more on on the economy, but you're just spending more to buy the same thing.
to buy the same eggs that you need. Or maybe you've stopped buying, some people have stopped buying eggs
Right.
and the other people are still buying the $12 eggs, right? So
Right.
the
So it
in
looks
the
like
margin,
it hasn't dipped. Yeah.
that's right.
Wild. That's
So
crazy.
it's wild. So to your point, like it's like one more, it's one more thing for us to, and then I think the other part will be like, what will be the mental effect on sort of this notion of dysmorphia that we experience through
Mhm.
technology, right? Like the filters and like
Mhm.
all the things. So like what happens to people's mental health, specifically women's mental health in the long term, as some part of the population looks like they're staying the same age forever. Some part of the population is actually aging and is beautiful and graceful in their aging with their, smile lines and the things that celebrated the lives that they've led, whether it's a roadmap of the, challenges they've had and the joy that they've had, right? And somewhere in that will create some version of hopefully not, but like shame and like so you're not no longer representing that forward. Like there's some of that article is to me like, "Oh my god, like, what is happening to society?" And the other part of me is like, "God, I probably should start saving. I would really do I wanna be 36 forever? I don't know."
I know, it's so
When
funny.
all
We're
my
just
friends
such
are younger than not
complicated
all of them, but a lot of my friends are younger than me, and I'm like, they're talking about facelifts, and I'm like, "What am I doing over here?"
we're such complicated beings.
We are.
We really are.
We are. We are. So
Well,
anyway.
for our main topic today, we are gonna talk about pivots, which I think is really a good one for you right now, considering what you just shared. So, um, I think talk to me about, like, you're going through a big pivot right now. What does that look like for you? How does it feel? How do you feel? How are you dealing with it?
Yeah, well, thank you for asking. Um, you know, I feel great. Uh, I don't think it feels that way for everyone. It's interesting, like, right now, uh, again, like kind of in the spirit of the jobs report and how discombobulated it was in the actual versus the actual versus the what was, they thought and were estimating. My LinkedIn feed is full of people making change that maybe they didn't necessarily sign up for. And trying to process that while letting other people know that they're now available for work. And, I've gotten a lot of outreach. And a lot of people don't know that I am not at my job anymore. Like that's
Right, so
also
they're like,
one of
"Hey,
the kind of
could you get me a job?" And you're like, "I definitely
I
can."
also don't have a job. Um, it's like other than like thinking about doing some consulting, I also am looking at new pursuits. And I think for me, one of the things that I learned that I started many years ago, but didn't necessarily know that I was starting is this idea that um, I've, we've talked about this before, like being like interested in lots of industries and being interested in lots of businesses or ideas or opportunities and what that created for me was the ability to have these areas of passion and being focused on what I cared about and what I think I'm good at and what I want to do, right? And so what's happened because of that is I've had some clarity. And so what I'm really doing is embracing this as an opportunity. I'm co-founding something with another partner, which we'll be announcing, in the next couple of months. That's like very exciting. And interestingly, in if I hadn't had all the experiences I had had, the path wouldn't feel as like right and clear, I think.
Mhm,
Right. And I think
mhm.
that also in having my full-time job, day job, whatever, I wasn't able to also do some of the things that I loved with the full degree of authenticity that I wanted to. So, like, even this
Mhm.
podcast, right? I would
Mhm.
feel like there were some limitations in, like, what I could say or how I could say it because I would be reflective, even though I would say it's not, it would be reflective of my company or they might interpret it that way. And so I think, like, what all of those years of building a new muscle had put me in a place that I felt like I'm embracing this, like, full force.
Mhm.
And follow the good energy, right? Like, the truth is, it's like, go where where energy flows, energy goes, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that's, I Mhm. Yeah, there's a lot of other things to consider, like income and living expenses and all of these things. But the truth is there's a lot going around us that we can't control. And so what you can control is your own pursuit of whatever you love and what you want to do.
Mhm. I find when a big change is thrust upon me that I didn't necessarily choose, that I have these moments where that you're saying of clarity and there's opportunity and everything's going to be okay. And then I like vacillate between that and like, oh shit, what am I doing? Or even feeling
Yeah.
shame, like what did I do wrong? Why didn't I make it
Yeah.
work? Like, are you feeling like sort of all of the feelings?
Yeah. I mean, especially at first, right? Like
Yeah.
unexpected change uh can come in a variety of ways, right? It can
Yeah.
come from an employment perspective. Unexpected change was having my twins 3 months early, almost 16 years ago, which is like almost like so hard to believe that, in 3 weeks, my twins will be 16 years old, but lived in the NICU for 116 days, right? Like, or 113 days. Like, that was an unexpected change which changed my entire life, right? My daughter with a
Totally.
lifelong diagnosis. Like, there are changes, people being diagnosed with being sick or, lot of mental health or whatever it is, right? Like, a lot of people experience significant changes all the time. Right? So finding your way through the change, right? Which is like the 7 stages of grief, like you're angry and then you go into denial and then, and absolutely there's space for all of that because there's only one way, right? If you can try to go above it, you can try to go under it, but the only way is to really go through it in order to do that. And certainly my feelings were hurt. I felt upset, I was frustrated, I was a little scared. Like, there were a lot of things and I f I kind of but my ability, because I've done that a lot of times, to reground myself in, like, "Who am I? What do I stand for?" "I'm still me." There's no roadmap for any of us, and what are the things that fill me up, and I'm gonna do those things because when I create the right energy around me, what I do know to be true is the universe will meet me where I am to help me. Right? And
Mhm. Mhm.
divinely protected, all of these things, grounding yourself in the people that, love you, being open and vulnerable. But like, I tend to like when something happens to me, I go like inward. I don't
Mm.
really talk about it. I can talk about it later, but like I'm not a person who's like gonna go ask people really for like help, input, etc., unless it's very specific.
Mhm.
Um, and I need that time to process. So I say like,
Mhm.
yes, take the time and be open to being like, yeah, it's like you said, like a little bit of shame, a little bit of anger, a little bit of fear, like all those things are normal and natural. And if you don't feel them, then you're probably not being very real with yourself.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you've talked about you went through, your own experience, right? And like,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, similar
what
to you,
did,
like, lots of
yeah,
them, you
yeah,
know? I guess it just reminds you that, first of all, you're not in control, you know? As much as you try to
not,
be and as much as you try to, like, control your life and control everything in it, like, you're not. And
no,
I think there's be real power in, a lot of what Mel Robbins says around, like, "Let them."
yeah.
And, to me, it's a lot of like the Lord's or the what is it? Not the Lord's Prayer, the prayer that's like, God grant me the serenity to
Oh, the
accept the things I
serenity
cannot
prayer,
change. Serenity
the
prayer.
serenity prayer. Yeah.
Right. and
Yeah.
to the courage to change the things I can, because it's like,
Yeah.
what can I change? What can't I? What's out of my control? What's in my control? And like,
Yeah.
it just gives you that like, oh, it's a reminder. I'm not in control
Yes.
here.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like
You
when you
know?
miss a flight, are you the person that says, "This is happening to me," and you get really upset about it and you get super pissed and you're mad at everyone around you, and then you're creating also that energy, right? Which is not to say like that doesn't happen, right? But there's the other flip side of that, which is like when this stuff happens to me that are beyond my control, it's like, the person that missed the flight on 9/11, right? Like out of Boston. Right? There were like 2 people, I think, that were supposed to be on that flight that missed their flight, right? You think about those things. So I always say, like, "This isn't happening to me, it's happening for me." Like, what are the things that I am supposed to what am I being confronted with that is a mirror of something that I'm learning that's for my benefit, and I may never know what that is,
Mhm.
or I might find out 10 years later,
Yeah.
but, like, whatever that is, like, for me, this was a forcing function to be like, "It's time to do what you're supposed to do. It's time to build my own legacy." That's what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm supposed to do the things that, like, have been laid out before me, that I've spent a ton of time and energy investing in all the different ways that I expected or not, and I'm supposed to now is the time for my own legacy to invest in that, and that's
Mhm.
what I'm doing.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that is so beautiful. And I really love what you said. There's this Angelina Jolie quote that I don't know why it struck me so much, but she was like, "You have to go all the way through things," and you just said that, like, you have to go all the way through them,
Yeah.
and I think that's so powerful. We so often are just like, "What's the cheat code to get me through to the next step? How do
Yeah.
I just like, how do I bypass the pain? How do I bypass the hard part and just get me through to like the next part?" And it's like, doesn't matter how you like, if you can
Yeah.
try to do that, but like, it's gonna come back up. You know, you can sweep your feelings under the rug, but they will come back. So it's like,
They
feel
will
it all
come
the way
back.
through, you
Yeah.
know?
And I think that's something you get to learn as an adult, right? Like a lot of people, I was just talking with somebody and we had lunch, and she had never heard of the Hoffman Institute, right? And the Hoffman
Mhm.
Institute, right, is a place where, and I
Mhm.
have not been, it's some place that I've kind of always wanted to go.
Me neither,
Um,
but it's on my desk right now,
ah,
unopened.
there you go. It's and it's a commitment, right? It's a commitment to yourself, it's a commitment to your past, it's a commitment to your future self. And I know a lot about it because I've spent a lot of time like investigating it, exploring it. The idea of going off the grid for like 7 days feels nearly impossible with like the life that I live. So that's always been a little bit of an inhibitor. But you know, some of the exercises that you hear about as part of that experience are to go backwards, right? In order to go forwards so that you can go all the way through it, so that you can get to the place where you have that aha moment of like this I thought, and I have done some of this work on my own because I've, read a bunch like radical forgiveness like changed my life, in a myriad of ways. But like how do you how do you get to that point where then it's the unlock for you to go, okay. And it doesn't mean those things will never be represented to you. They might come back in different ways, but you'll
Mhm.
be differently equipped for
Yeah.
how you go through them, how quickly you go through them, what you believe to be, and the confidence and understanding that what's on this other side that waits for you is greater than what's happening now, but you have to do it.
Mhm.
I love that
Do
that's
you
on
have
your desk, LD.
I know, it's funny. I a couple months ago reached out and I was like, asked for the materials and they've sat on my desk unopened. But it's like, it's one of those things that I will open it and I know it will speak to me when it's ready, you know?
Yeah, and maybe this was a sign. Maybe this was an open
Maybe.
door for you to open the envelope.
Maybe.
Ooh,
Yeah, there you
what's in the
go.
envelope? It's like an award ceremony. What's in the envelope?
It's $1,000,000. It's
Oh,
just a check for
$1,000,000. Okay, that's
$1,000,000.
exciting.
Yep.
Great. I'm looking forward to whatever that's gonna bring for all the things.
Do you have any, like, things that you go back to when you're in a time of change, like books or podcasts or anything that you're like, "Oh, this really helps me to get through it. Let me listen to that again," or "Let me take that up again?"
Yeah, I mean, you brought up Mel Robbins earlier. Like, I'm loving her podcast series, and interestingly, one of the ones that I just recently listened to, I do believe her name is Emma. It's like if you never listen to one podcast again, listen to this one, right? And it's basically this a woman who's 42 and founded like $3 billion companies. She's part of co-founder of
Oh,
Skims and
she's
like,
Emma Grede. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
she's the skim yeah.
yeah. And I honestly, like, I think part of it is that I feel like our backgrounds are very similar. Our bringings were, different, probably in some of the, in some version of important ways, but like how we mobilized some of those things and how we've actually gone through our careers and things like that. I felt very tapped in, and it was interesting because it was another friend that brought that to my attention. Um, but I go back to, just honestly, like different quotes that become like my baseline. Like again, like where energy goes, where energy flows. This isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. Like, what are you meant to learn from this, right? Like if there is a Socrates quote, like the secret of change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new. Like I am a builder of the new. Like, I will go through the things, but I don't I if there is one thing that, like, I feel like a visceral reaction to, it's like a victim mentality or mindset.
Mhm,
Like,
mhm,
I to me, I'm like, I'm not a victim of my circumstances. I I will only get out what I put in, right? It's like every
mhm,
coach
mhm,
that you ever had, right? The way you do anything is the way you do everything. Like these things to me are really important. And one of the things that she talks about and actually came from Warren Buffett, right? Which is a Warren Buffett quote, which is like, if you can invest in nothing else, if all else is lost and you cannot figure out where to put your time and energy, put it into yourself. Make your bed
mhm,
better. Get up in the
mhm,
morning, treat your body better. Go for a
mhm,
walk. Like, do the thing that if you can invest in yourself, then that will start to give you the presence of mind, the feeling of like some version of, we all want a little bit of a sense of control, I think, even because not having control makes us feel nervous. And even those that can abandon ourselves and surrender to the universe and like all the things, it's still that is something you can control.
mm.
And I
Yeah,
think I foundationally believe in that, and then from that, I think you start to create the energy field that you need to do the other things, to attract the other things. Gratitude is a hugely important aspect of my own daily practice. I think being grateful and looking around for what you do have is exponentially more valuable than looking around to what you don't have.
yep.
So, what about you? What do you what do you go back to?
Well, I always go back to, I gen have you ever done The Artist's Way?
No, but I am familiar with it. I think I have it. I have downloaded on a on one of my many books to read.
Yeah, it's a program. It's like a 12-week program,
Yeah.
and for the cost of a book on Amazon, it really has changed my life multiple times because whenever I'm stuck, she helps you get unstuck. And it's like
Oh,
a
I
lot of
love
inner
that.
child work, and it's a lot of taking yourself on artist dates. It's a lot of filling up your she talks about like filling up your creativity bucket with all these
Mhm.
ideas of art and music and poetry and filling up the bucket so that when you're ready, you've got like a well to pull from when you're ready to create your own next thing. And it's gotten me through tough challenges, and it's also opened me up into making art and creating things and not
Yeah.
being afraid. One of the things
Yeah.
she says that, like, I will take with me for the rest of my life is your job in this life is to make, is to create. The universe is constantly creating and it's growing and it's changing and it's creating. Your job is also to create,
Yeah.
and but it's not your job to what happens after that. Like, you wanna make art, you wanna make music, you wanna make a podcast, that's great, make it, and then you that's it. That's not your the rest of it isn't your job. If you become a famous artist, if you become a famous musician, that's not your business, basically. Which I always like. I like the
Yeah.
idea that it's like, make something. Don't like, because people get too caught up in the like, well, I can't make this. If I can't go take acting classes because, like, what if I'm not going to be famous. I'm not going to become a famous actor, and so therefore I can't take acting classes. And she's always just like,
Yeah.
not your business if you become a famous actor. Go take the acting class. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I think we've talked about this before, like, in the context of, like, how I sort of see the world too, which is, like, do something because you wanna do it, not because 'cause you're attached to the outcome,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Like, get involved in the things that you love, which, by the way, I'm not saying is not easier said than done, right? Like,
Mhm. Mhm.
where we invest our time and energy, oftentimes we don't invest time and energy in some of the things that we want to do or we're passionate about because we're scared we'll fail or it makes us uncomfortable or, kind of like something you said before, which is like on the other, whether it's cringy or not, but like on the other side of cringy is like the opportunity,
Opportunity.
that kind of stuff. But I think it's an idea that like in creation, right, is joy and passion and excitement, which then paves the way for other things to present themselves to you, right? But
Mhm.
I
Totally.
think
Totally.
I think it's
And I think
powerful.
that's what she's like when she connects you into that inner child work. It's a lot about, kids don't make art so that they can be lauded for their accomplishments of art. They make art because
Yeah,
they find joy in making art, and
totally.
they don't care
Uh,
if it's ugly, you know?
yeah. Well,
So,
and by the way, it's all, it's like beauty is always in the eye of the beholder.
sure,
Like
of
the
course.
truth
Yeah.
is your child's like first scribbles on the piece of paper are the most beautiful art you've ever seen. Or the first
Yeah.
time they figure out how to write mom or dad in like some scratchy crayon or, or your ability. I mean, kind of goes back to how we started this when you're talking about Burning Man, right? The opportunity to tap into your imagination, which is somewhere also probably your inner child
For
playing
sure.
dress up, but in a very elegant, beautiful, and like sophisticated way. I was like, this is amazing. I want to be all of these things. But like, it's like, "Hey, Lauren, I need you to style me for just like one day, and I'm gonna walk
There you
around
go.
town as if I
There
was
you
at
go.
Burning Man."
Perfect.
um, but also,
Well,
that idea of inner child. Like, I think it's so
yeah.
beautiful. Yeah.
Um, well, I guess I wanted to ask you for our like final segment if you have
Yeah.
an open door this week
I do have an open door this week. So, I feel like I have a lot of open doors opening. It's
and
very
windows
interesting.
or
Yeah, yeah,
closed. It could be
windows,
closed.
doors, like whatever. Um, yeah, actually, I think a big open door is, I've got all these things happening. I often talk about like the professional side of my life and like, I'm really excited about this new business I'm starting. But what I'm really excited about is we have always my daughter has disabilities. They're about to turn 16. And we have, been paying out of pocket for a lot of her services since she, is 3 years old and caregiving and things like that. And we are talking, $90,000 a year kind of vibes, right? Like it's so expensive. And we're moving to something that is put on by regional centers. So any parents that have a child with disabilities, of a certain need level, there's something called self-determination and you have to develop this plan, like person-centered plan. And it's a whole process. And I always resisted it because it's only been around for a few years. But I was like, it just felt like so much work and like something else to do. And in the spirit of like the universe meeting me and sort of me saying these things out loud and whatever, we met this incredible woman who's an independent financial consultant. I took the course, right? But then I did that, and then she came along, and then she, is helping us to like, or helping me and Scott to like orient around like what do we need to do, and we're like kind of down to the final stages, and you know that kind of opportunity for Emma is like a really, really big deal because it sets her up for like other services, like taking swimming lessons, which she loves, water, and taking music classes, and all these things that it's just been really hard to navigate with like all the kids and all the time and having
That's
this full-time
great.
job and, like, all of that.
That's awesome.
And now I have some time and intention to focus on that, and the doors are being opened, and I think we're getting closer to getting that finalized, and that is a huge
Great.
open door in so many ways and predicated to some degree on a door closing,
Right.
right? And I'm really excited about this for her, for us, for our family, like, so, yeah, that was my open door.
Awesome.
How about you?
Good. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, my open door is I started going to in-person meditation classes and well,
Oh,
I've only gone to one, but I
okay.
made a commitment that I'm going to start going every week. And I just think it'll be nice to have a little time and space. And I meditate at home, but my coach, my Enneagram coach was like, I think you need to like go in person, be with people, sit there longer. Like I do like 10-minute meditations at home. She's
Yeah.
like, I just think you need a little bit more space. And so I started
Yeah.
doing that last night for the first time, which was
How
really
was it?
nice. And we'll see how it goes. It's good. I mean, at first you're just like, it's like, have you ever seen Eat, Pray, Love when she sits down in
Yeah, yeah,
India
of
and
course.
she's like
Yeah.
the fly and she's hot
Yeah,
and she's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
at first you're just like, oh God, this is so painful. But then I
yeah.
kind of settled into it. So
Oh, I love that. I think that's wonderful. I mean, it's also a commitment to yourself,
yeah,
right? Like, by making the effort to go out the door,
right.
you have committed to yourself to take the time to do this with you, which is
I love
beautiful.
it.
I love
Yep.
that. Awesome.
Well,
Well,
I'm glad we got a chance to chat, and thanks for tuning in and listening to us talk about pivots.
yeah, and please feel free to share and rate the pod, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And share with someone that you think might enjoy this, could use it, needs it. We know there's a
Going
lot of
through a
people
pivot.
going through a pivot, unexpected
Yep.
life change. We want to hear from you as well. So feel free to drop us a note and say hello on the socials. And we would love to feature any topics as well that everyone else is thinking about: open doors, closed doors, all that good stuff. So
Love it.
until next time, Lauren,
Until next
always good
time.
to
Thanks,
see you.
guys. Good
Thanks,
to see you.
everybody.
Bye.